Holy crap, everybody. The stakes have been raised. Not only are there two devils in the world, high-ranking ones, but the Dark Triad can now access 100% of their devil mana. And an army of devils have been released into the world. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. The leaked chapter of Black Clover Chapter 280 has released. So I'm going to go over this chapter, give you my review, summary, and analysis. Now, I do want to say, guys, that this will feature manga spoilers. So if you don't want to be spoiled, then you definitely probably want to click away. But I already know that a lot of you want to watch it, and that's why you're already here. So this is the leaked chapter. So I just want to let you guys know that this will be not the best translations, just like last week. I'd say the translations are definitely over 90% correct. It's just usually minor things that will be changed in the official translations. And if there's anything huge enough, I will maybe leave a note in the video of what's changed. But man, another incredibly hyped chapter from Yuki Tabata for Black Clover. If you guys end up enjoying, please leave a like and subscribe. We just passed 46,000 subscribers. So thank you guys so much for all the support. You guys are killing it. We're going to get to 50,000 very soon, and maybe even 100,000 by the end of the year. That's definitely doable at the rate that we are growing. But with that being said, guys, let's get into this review. So the chapter picks up where it left off, and Jack is just smashed against the wall. Now, if you look at him, it looks like he is frozen. And in my Discord, which maybe you guys want to join, the link will be below, we were talking about, and somebody brought up, I think it was Super Demon in my Discord, he brought up the fact that he thought that the twin devils were going to have, one was going to have ice and one was going to have fire, based on their shoulders. And one had like more fluid shoulder and looked like maybe flames, and the other one had like a more sturdy one and it looked like it'd be ice. And this looks like ice powers here. Looks like they might have some sort of maybe hellfire or hell ice. Definitely not going to be just normal ice or normal fire, in my opinion. And we get to Noct, and Noct thinks to himself that Plumede is trembling. And so he says, two devils of the highest order from the first floor who coordinate with the cliff off. I expected them to have the same level of strength with the Dark Triad, but they are on another level. This is exactly what I talked about last week, that Noct was wrong with his predictions, and he's admitting it here. These twin devils are far, far superior to the Dark Triad. It's just not even close. As I said in the last week's video, Jack was going against 80% Dante, and his gravity was not really doing much against the blades. Then a single casual hit from one of these devils knocked him against the wall and bypassed his defenses. Now, these twin devils, their names are Lilith and Nahama. The female is Lilith, which a lot of people predicted and are right, and Nahama, I didn't really see, I don't think, predictions of Nahama, but Lilith for sure. And the guy, Nahama, says, the mana tastes good. And then Noct thinks to himself, they're just playing around. So these are not even at their full power. They're just completely messing around. Now the scene goes back to the Spade Castle, and the Tree of Cliff-Off is beginning to surround it. And essentially, they recognize the roots are just absorbing mana from the atmosphere, from the world. And then they sense a tremendous magic power coming from the castle. And a portal opens, and out comes an army of devils. Now, let's go through and count. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, about 18 devils, maybe more, and there'll probably be even more if you just look at the next panel. It looks like there's way more. This is just the one shown. And they look all beast-like. They don't look very humanoid compared to the devils we have seen. If you look at Lilith and Nahama and Zagred and Lucifero, they all look humanoid. These ones look more like beasts, so I wonder if there's a reason for that. Might go into mine and Jack Oates' theory of the high-level devils possibly being like fallen angels or fallen elves, because elves are a mythic parallel. Now, if you look through this army of devils, you can see devils that look very similar to the ones that bullied Libe or were in the flashbacks. This ghoul, goblin-looking dude, he looks like one of the devils in Libe's flashback. And then there's a couple of guys that look like the devils that were brought into the world of Cliff-Off in the flashbacks. So the Spade citizens are not too good. They are very scared here. And this is another interesting thing that's brought up. And When Miralina sees this army of devils, she says, similar with that magic power before. And she thinks back to the devil, Zagred, and his otherworld magic. And she didn't think about this with the ancient demon. So this does further show that there is difference between demons and devils. The ancient demon and the devils have different types of mana. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And essentially the cliff off opening had resurrected this ancient demon that Miralina just bodied. And she's like, oh, so you're just getting started. And then that fight continues. Now we flash back to the Yuno fight. And Yuno is still just stabbed his halberd right into Zenon's chest, the spirit of Boreas, and Zenon thinks to himself, so I couldn't win with 70% of his power. So Zenon increased from 55% to 70%, or at the very least, maybe he wasn't 70% already in the last chapter, or a few chapters ago. But yeah, Yuno is still bullying Zenon, and he's at 70%. This shows how much stronger Yuno has gotten, because if you guys don't remember, Zephyr was not cutting through a base Zenon's bones. Now, of course, he was using a percentage of his devil power, we just don't know. And then he would use his 55%, no diff him. And then now, Boreas is just destroying a 70% Zenon. And remember, a 1% increase in devil mana for the Triad is a phenomenal increase as stated by Noel. This shows that when Yuno is in his full spirit dive, or full so far, with the spirit of Boreas, he is far stronger than with the spirit of Zephyr against Zenon. Of course, it's pretty obvious, but the gap really is way bigger than he probably thought. Now it pans back to Charlotte. Charlotte thought the battle was over with Vonica, and she's like, I'm sure I sealed the power of curses, but the magic power is rising. And then it goes to Dante, and he says, the first door, the barrier that makes the contract with devils incomplete, has now opened, and all the Dark Triad go to devil power 100%. Now, this does sort of add up, because Dante did mention to Yami that the only reason why he can go to 100% is because the gate to the underworld was closed. Now the first gate is open. Now I thought it was going to be that with each gate opening they'd be able to use a little bit more power until the end, and maybe the second to last gate they'd be at 100%, and then when the final gate opens they'd probably die because Lucifero and their devils would come in. But nope, I guess it's just if one gate is open they can use their full devil power. And I love the designs of all of them. I actually think they all look really, really cool. Magicula's looks great, and I know a lot of guys are simping over her on Twitter. I definitely see it. And she has... her crown gets bigger in her devil form, and so does Dante's. And Zenon, he still doesn't have a symbol in this form. So I'm wondering why Vonica and Dante have their symbols, and Zenon doesn't have a symbol. I think it's quite interesting. But honestly, I do think that Zenon has the best form. It looks the coolest. And then I think Dante is probably the second, and Vonica is probably third. But I think they're all look really cool. I love the designs. I think they look really sick. Can't wait to see all the cool colorings or the speed in the anime. Also, interestingly enough, all three of them now have 4 horns when they use 100% devil power. Now, when you look at it, Dante's 4 horns are bigger than the other 2. And if you look back at the images we've seen of Zenon's Devil and Magicula, now they're not clear images, but in them you can't tell that they have 4 horns. So I think that they have smaller horns than Lucifero, whereas in the same type of image, which is very shadowy of Lucifero, we can clearly see his 4 horns. So I think this is just further signifying that Lucifero is the strongest of the devils. He has 4 horns. His 4 horns are larger, and then he has 4 wings, whereas we have not seen 4 wings from the other 2 devils. Also, interesting to point out is Dante has pointy, elven-like ears. Zenon and Magicula seemingly do not, or Vonica. You can clearly see that Zenon's ears still not really that pointy, and Magicula's, or Vonica's, we can't really see because her hair is covering it. But if they were that pointy, we would be able to see them through it. Now, with the 100% devil power, Dante just bullies Jack. He brings him closer towards him, and then he just shatters all of Jack's blades, and he brings him back into fight. And then Rill is really concerned for Charlotte, because Charlotte gets absolutely bodied by 100% Vonica, and she is barely holding back. She basically pulls out her little sword thing, and Vonica's trying to push through. Now, one thing that probably makes this fight still winnable for Charlotte is the fact that she can basically turn Vanaka's and Magicula's curses against her. So Vanika should only be able to use the blood magic. So that does kind of partially nerf Vanika, but honestly, Dorothy will probably show up and it'll make this fight a bit more interesting. Than Rill will probably need to get some sort of power up. But yeah, I don't think Charlotte's out just yet. I think it's going to be now that it needs to be a team up. Dorothy's probably going to clear the Dark Disciples out really quickly, and then it'll be an actual legit three-way team up. Maybe get some cool combo spells. Just think how potent a combo spell could be between Rill's paint magic and Dorothy's dream magic. Just combining their imaginations together, that could be absolutely broken. And now, Zenon at 100% has overpowered Yuno in his Spirit of Boreas, and Yuno thinks to himself that the Bones regeneration and attack ability went up way more, and it healed up the damage that he had taken. So Zenon has healing abilities. I wonder if it's part of his bone magic properties or just how Devil Mana works. And basically Zenon is kind of like mocking him now, saying that his victory's here. And then now, Noct is in a crazy situation. He's like, damn it, if we just leave Morris alone, the situation will only become worse. I need to leave this place immediately and defeat him. But the actions of devils of the highest order is unexpectable. Somebody has to fight them. So basically, you can't just leave these devils here and go take out Morris because of how powerful these devils are. And he thinks to himself, and he's like, to suppress the devil and to defeat Morris, the best we can do for our victory is... And then he thinks about Asta. So I wonder if that's just a thing. They have to wait for Asta to get there. Then he says to Plumade, die with me. Now, I saw the community going crazy over this, and like, no, Noct can't die already, he was just introduced. And I don't think he's going to die. Well, I think he will die, but he's not going to die. As I predicted a while ago that Noct and the Cat Devil would have a power called 9 Lives, a characteristic. Now, when I talked about this, people said that, well, no, it can't be, because we now know that the Cat's ability is to actually just have agility. But seemingly its characteristic was also to look across the different areas, but we also know that Gimodello has more than one characteristic as well. When Noct used Pack, he said this was one of Gimodello's characteristics, so that would imply that the other devils, like Plumade, would also have multiple, and I think it would just make so much sense, and it makes much more context with this to see if he tells Plumade to die with him, because if he dies with him, then he gets 9 lives, so he can die multiple times. So it might be that Noct just has to die, and then when he's out of his 9 lives, right when he's about to die for real, is when Asta will show up, or something like that. Now, Zenon talks to Yuno about how his side was expected to win, and not only that, but he says that when they win, Yuno will have no place to go back to, and it pans to the Clover Kingdom. A massive storm cloud is over it, and we see Nash and another orphan sibling, and they're like, hey, over there, and then an ancient demon descends from the sky and is now over the Clover Kingdom. Now, if you just look at it, this is a different ancient demon from the one of Licht. Now, he is clearly different. The horns are incredibly different. Now, his body overall, he looks so much like Licht's ancient demon, but it's not. It's different. The horns are very different, so I assume this is a different one. But it has a lot more similarities of this one to the one that Miralona fought. While the one that Miralona fought had horns that looked a lot more like the ancient demon of Licht, this one has the wings behind it. So hopefully we get more information on how the ancient demons actually work and what they are, how they're made. Because now there's multiple. This one is clearly a different one from the one that Miralona fought. And if it is different, well, how many of them are there? Now it pans to the Clover citizens now freaking out. And we get to see Kaiser, and I think that's Zerx reacting to it. They're sweating. Julius and Marx. Then we get to see Rebecca for the first time in a long time. It's like, what was the last time we saw her? What? We saw her reading the article of Asta being a devil user, and then we saw her scared when the light covered the Capitol. Then it pans to Asta and eBay training and still in the ritual room. And interestingly enough, they're both very tired, bent over, and they're breathing heavy. It even shows Asta breathing heavy. And if you just look at this panel, it shows that it looks like anti-magic is coming from Asta, even though they're not connected. So I wonder what that is, or it's probably just maybe leftover anti-magic from their previous Devil Union. But guys, this is going to be so hype. Asta's going to probably get his Lumiere moment. He's probably going to destroy this ancient demon before he heads to the Spade Kingdom. He's going to get that parallel to Lumiere. And that's going to be great, because that's how the series started. We see the Ancient Demon attacking the Clover Kingdom, and the Wizard King saves him, and now Asta will get his chance to do the same thing. At least I think. Maybe somebody else will defeat this Ancient Demon, but I think that what's going to happen here, possibly, is that Kaiser is going to be the shield of the kingdom, as he has been stated to be before, and he will maybe protect the kingdom from a few hits from this Ancient Demon, and then when his vortex magic is all gone, Asta will show up and probably finish him off. And honestly, if this Ancient Demon is similar to the one that Marilyn fought, and Marilyn could take that one demon down on her own, maybe Asta doesn't even need the full Devil Union to defeat this thing. I don't know, but overall, absolutely loved this chapter. It's probably my favorite chapter of the week again. It's just so great. And one other thing I did want to bring up as well is this Devil Horde. I think would be really interesting. I'm going to make a little prediction here, that the Black Bulls, whenever they come and help this war efforts, because they haven't really showed up yet, I think that they're going to bring Yami's collection of beasts, and they might fight off this horde of devils, or help fight them off. It would just be really cool, a cool way to tie these things into the series, because they've been mentioned a few times. I think they've been mentioned a few times more in the anime than the manga, and Yami's collected them. They might be subservient to him, and if they can somehow communicate to them that Yami got kidnapped by this other kingdom, they might be really interested in helping to save Yami. And it should be a cool thing to tie that into the series, so they're not just something that's in the background, but actually bring it into fruition. But one thing that doesn't need to be mentioned, though, is I've seen people talking about it as a disappointment, and something that people are saying is that they think now that because the Dark Triad are using 100% Devil Mana, that means that they would be, in fact, stronger than their respective devils. Like, Dante 100% is somehow stronger than Lucifero, because if you look at it this way, at a surface level, it does seem like that would be the case, as if he is using 100% of Lucifero's power, and then he pairs that with his own mana, and then has 2 magic types, then theoretically he should be able to defeat Lucifero. The thing I have issue with is that it's probably the case that the devils have much higher mana control, especially when it comes to using devil mana, than the Dark Triad. So while technically maybe Dante would have more mana than Lucifero, it probably would not be able to use in anywhere near the same capacity. And maybe it's not even the true 100%. So I do not believe that the Dark Triad will be stronger than their devils. I believe they will be weaker, and it's going to be either one of the reasons that it's not truly the full power, or they just don't have the level of devil mana control that the actual devils do. That being said, guys, let me know your thoughts of this chapter down below. I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10. It was great. It's the stakes are raising, and the stakes are raising, guys. And we only had 2 of the 10 devils in this world, right? It's gonna be crazy because there's 8 more to go, all stronger than Lilith and Namaha. And then with the 3 Triad at 100% now, and then there's this army of devils coming in, and maybe there's gonna be more ancient demons popping up. But yeah. Let me know your guys' thoughts down below. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Hope you guys all have an amazing day. Plus...